Hello to all CENIMASTER lovers. Hope you enjoy watching. Let's get started. The movie begins with a lawyer named Elliot, who works at a pharmaceutical company and is waiting for a promotion. That's why he agrees to spend the weekend at his boss, Odell Leopold's house, which is isolated on top of a mountain. With him is his daughter, Ridley, who can't stand the company in the first place and is bored with the trip. On the way, a strange creature appears in the fog. Elliot hits it with the car and they discover it's neither a horse nor a deer. It's a unicorn. Ridley gets close to it, and when she touches its horn, she experiences a strange cosmic vision. But instead of helping it, Elliot finishes it off. They take the corpse in the car and go to the boss's house, who turns out to have cancer and is in a bad state. Ridley tries to escape from the place, but when she looks in the mirror, she finds her face cleared up and her pimples gone. Elliot also discovers that his eyesight has become perfect. They realize that the creature's blood has miraculous healing powers, but the real disaster is that the creature is still alive and comes back again. While Elliot is still only focused on the promotion, we see him leave the room and sit with Shepard. At the same time, Ridley finds an old photo of her mother with a unicorn in it, and she starts to feel that something is not right. Shepard asks Elliot why his daughter doesn't love him, and before he can answer, a strange sound comes from the forest, like a terrifying roar, so Shepard gets scared and runs to the house. Ridley focuses more on the picture and discovers that it's from a famous series of 15th century paintings that tell the story of a unicorn that was hunted and imprisoned in a castle, but then came back to life, and when it met an innocent girl, its heart calmed down. But the last picture, which was missing and recently restored, shows unicorns tearing humans apart. That night, Ridley has a strange dream, as if she's seeing through the unicorn's eyes, and wakes up to find herself in another world, with her father in a lab. And with them are two doctor suits, Dr. Song and Dr. Bhatia, happy that they found a real unicorn. Song shows them a chemical extract from the horn and starts injecting it into Odell, the company boss, who had cancer. And indeed, after hours, the man stands on his feet for the first time, showing strange youthfulness, and his tests show that the cancer is gone. But there's bad news. This substance can't be made again, because the unicorn's genes are unlike any other creature. That means this horn is all they have, and they start thinking about how to exploit it for the highest price. Ridley, sensing a disaster coming, goes for a walk in the forest and finds a tree marked with horn scratches. When she hears the sound again, she quickly runs back to the mansion, but at that moment, all the lights go out, and the monitoring device says that radiation has reached its highest level. At the same time, Dr. Song feels something strange in his back, and before he can react, a huge horn pierces through him from behind, splattering blood and guts onto Bhatia's face. Behind them, the real unicorn appears, and it's neither gentle nor beautiful. It's a monster out for revenge. Everyone panics, and Odell appears at the end of the tunnel, shouting for them to return the baby immediately. Shu and Griff head out to the garden with weapons, and Elliot is terrified when he sees Ridley alone outside. He yells at her to get in the car and lock the door, and she listens, but she turns on her phone flashlight to see, which draws the monster's attention, and it charges at the car. Elliot runs quickly, opens the back door, and pulls Ridley out to escape before the monster devours her. But things get out of control. The guards surround the monster, but what they have isn't enough. They hide under the car and see its horn crushing one of the guards' skulls. Ridley seizes the moment and runs to the mansion. The monster chases her, but she manages to close the door. Surprisingly, it stands in front of the door and looks at her, but doesn't break it, as if it doesn't want to. It passes its horn through the mail slot, which glows as if calling to her. She approaches to touch it, but suddenly Shu shoots at it, so it flees. But at least it's wounded and leaves behind a black fluid, which Ridley touches and confirms it's really hurt. After everyone returns to the mansion, the Leopold family mocks Ridley's story, saying it's all just some Google research. But she tells them about her visions and how she now feels connected to the baby. Odell suggests they hunt the big unicorn so they can touch the horn and gain immunity, convincing everyone it's a way to end suffering and also honor the doctor who died. While they talk about mercy, Ridley isn't convinced at all and sees that they're lying and exploiting what happened. But Odell pressures Elliot again, telling him he'll make him a partner in the company if he goes along, so of course Elliot agrees. Shepard decides to stay in the mansion and goes to convince Dr. Bhatia to cut the horn from the baby, and at the same time, he steals the miraculous substance. While cleaning up after spilling some powder, curiosity gets the better of him and he sniffs a bit. The effect is immediate. His eyes glow strangely. Ridley is about to leave, but suddenly remembers something from the old pictures and goes back to check. The baby isn't dead. Its body regenerates, which means it will come back again. This makes Shepard even greedier, and Ridley terrified, because they're all about to face a monster they think is just wounded. She tries to message Griff to bring them back, but it's too late. Odell is already one step away from the monster, and Elliot sees the message too late. But the bigger problem is that the device in Shu's hand detects radiation from another location, and that's when another unicorn appears. Bigger and fiercer, bites Shu on the shoulder and lifts her up. The monsters attack the group and kill the guards one after another. From a distance, Elliot sees through the night vision one of the unicorns taking a battle stance and is forced to flee at the last moment, while the guard behind him is shredded. Only Odell and Elliot are left, running toward the mansion, but the door can't be closed in time and the monsters enter the garden. Odell tries to change tactics, approaches one of them and talks as if to tame it, but the surprise is that the unicorn gores him in the face, the horn coming out the top of his head. Everyone inside is terrified, watching from the window, and Griff quickly locks the door. Elliot decides to call for help, and for the first time, the Leopolds themselves agree, but the network goes down and the lights go out. Ridley thinks about returning the baby, hoping the monsters will calm down, but Belinda says they're trapped anyway, because the gate is electric. Griff says there's a way to open the gate manually from the machine house, but it's at the other end of the garden. Belinda and Shepard choose Griff to go, claiming he knows the gate best. Griff actually goes out, and those inside prepare to escape, and Badia puts the horn in a bag. As she leaves with the baby, the monsters appear, and they're not planning to spare anyone. Batia runs toward the gate, which Griff is opening manually, but before she reaches it, one of the monsters rams into her, and the other bites her leg. They fight over her until they tear her in half. Griff escapes, and the others run back to the mansion. Shepard announces that he has solved the puzzle. The only thing that can stop these monsters is a girl with a pure heart, and there's still one in front of him. Elliot collapses when he realizes they want to use his daughter as bait, and tells them he quits, but they don't believe he's not interested in his future. Shepard snorts the unicorn powder and enters a strange state again. While Shams and Ridley are planning their escape, the monsters appear, one at the window, the other smashing through the lab walls. Everyone runs, and Elliot takes his daughter upstairs, while Leopold looks for another exit. The monster breaks down the door and chases after them. Elliot locks himself and his daughter in a room. They see the monster through a crack in the door, and it looks terrifying. At the same time, Belinda and Shepard are hiding. Shepard throws a black shoe to distract the monster and grabs the unicorn powder bag. But when he goes to explain his plan to his mother, they discover the bag is empty. Upstairs, Elliot pulls out the unicorn horn he had hidden and tells Ridley he promised her mother before she died that he would make her happy at any cost. But it took him a long time to realize that happiness isn't about money. Downstairs, Belinda tries to listen through the bookshelf, but before she can finish, the monster's horn pierces the wall and stabs her as she stands there, and she falls to the ground, bleeding. Suddenly, the monster drags Belinda into another room and keeps slamming her against the walls like a doll, until it starts tearing out her insides with its teeth in a horrifying scene. At that moment, Shepard is trying to fire a flaming arrow at Odil's oxygen tank, but when the critical moment comes, he loses his nerve and does nothing, and Belinda pays the price in a gruesome way. Elliot quickly opens the door and closes it behind Ridley, deciding to face the monster alone, and runs to escape into the garden. Ridley manages to jump too, but suddenly Shepard appears behind her holding the arrow, forcing her to sit next to the baby unicorn and wait with him for the big monsters. It's not long before the monster approaches her while her eyes are closed in terror. But when she opens her eyes, she's surprised to find the monster sleeping peacefully in her lap, like a cat. Shepard quickly ties its legs, and at that moment the other monster appears and follows the horn in Elliot's hand, until it too kneels and sleeps next to the baby. At that point, Shepard jumps for joy, starts clapping for Elliot, and tells him he'll reward him. But Elliot's had enough and stabs him in the stomach with the horn. Shepard retaliates with an arrow, and Ridley runs to help her father. The monsters start getting agitated, and Shepard gets up from the blow, still wanting to take the horn, but suddenly one of the monsters kicks him, sending him flying and killing him instantly. Elliot also collapses, but this time he doesn't die. The monsters take him to the baby, kneel down, and bring their horns together, causing a magical storm that brings the baby unicorn back to life. And with it, Elliot comes back to life too. As soon as the monsters leave, Griff arrives at the villa with the police. But there are no monsters left, as if what happened was just a dream. Suddenly, they arrest Elliot and Ridley, put them in the car to be transported, both tied up and not understanding what's going to happen. But the surprise, the monsters come back. They appear in the middle of the road, in front of the police car, and attack it to free Elliot and his daughter. The two look at each other and fasten their seatbelts, knowing that what's coming is no joke. And if you liked the summary, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for lots of upcoming